Hey, what's going on, dudes and dudettes? Some of you guys might be wondering, holy f***, where have you been? I've been here, just quietly watching from the sidelines. You know, every time a new semester starts, I never have time to focus on anything besides school. Sleep, nope. Leisure, nope. Stress, yes. America's probably got to do something about that. Regardless, I always tell myself that with enough future planning, it won't matter. I couldn't possibly let YouTube out of my sight, right? Funny thing is though, that happens every semester, and every semester I tell myself, this time it's gonna be different. No, please. This time it's gonna be different. I am sorry. I don't like the way you are looking at me. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm not crazy. I've just been saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, and I'm starting to feel a bit like Vaz. And for those of you guys who might be too young to know who Vaz is, damn, I'm getting old, but welcome to gaming. Anyways, apologies aside, because believe it or not, I am sorry, and as of today, I am officially back because I just finished up that learning thing, and I only have a couple more finals to take, but honestly, I couldn't care less what I get on them because I'm just so burnt out, it's crazy. But on to the video. What better way to start off the holiday YouTube season than with a first impression of a video game whose first trailer came out when I was 12 years old? How kind of CD Projekt Red to make a game that is 18 plus only, then wait for all of us to turn 18 so we can play it. Shout out to them. Okay, so I'm not going to make this video too long because I actually want to work on some other videos that I didn't get around to finishing before I left, but I've been playing the game for about 3 days now and have roughly 15 hours worth of playtime in it, and I think that's a good enough time for me to spread my opinion on the game. Just be warned that this is by no means a full review and that my opinion could change down the line. Alright, so where do I begin? You know, let's just get the negative stuff out of the way. As you guys may or may not know, I am predominantly a PC player, so I did pick up this game on PC, and boy am I glad I did, because I am hearing absolute horror stories about how this game runs on console, regardless if it's next gen or not. And I'm here to tell you right now that I personally have not experienced any stability issues when in the game, because I prefer playing on lower settings with a high frame rate, and using my particular visual preference, the game probably doesn't really struggle too much to run properly. I have, however, heard that PC crashes quite frequently when you max out the settings, but again, I haven't played on that, so I haven't noticed it myself. So my game is pretty much crash free, and I know I can't say the same thing for a bunch of console players out there. I really do feel bad for you guys, and you have my wishes, but you know, hashtag PC Master Race. Sorry, I had to. So it's no surprise that game stability is an issue for a ton of people, but not all. What is universal though is the bugs, and dear God is this game filled with a ton of them. Even though my game runs smoothly, a lot of the time it's not running the way that it should. Like, this game severely lacks polish. It's almost funny how every process, from the half-baked crime system that honestly makes no sense when you're running away from the cops, to how stupid the AI could be when it has to deal with complex path solving and finding the player, all the way down to the cutscenes and scheduled dialogue intervals not operating the way they should because of some random glitch. Like, it's really comedical, I'm not gonna lie. Jack?
That's like
Jack?
divine comedy shit.
Jack, buddy? Your body's dead, Jack. Why are you still talking? Come on, bro. We need to get you to a doctor.
Jackie.
Hold on, am I being pranked? Where's the camera? Again, so it's no surprise that this game is not finished. It's just not. Now, that's not me hating on it, it's as clear as day to see. So the game could have stood a lot to gain by being delayed again, possibly till next summer or something, because I do have some experience in coding, AI, and animation, and a lot of these problems look like they'd take at least that long to work out if CDPR worked hard. Which brings up a very interesting discussion. To all the people who kept roasting and harassing CDPR to quote-unquote just release the game already, are you happy? Like, seriously, are you happy? I, for one, would not have cared if they delayed the game another 6 months, but I know the internet would have lit up in flames, and understandably so, because they delayed it a bunch. And I personally think it would have been better for them to delay it by a year outright, like from the original April 16th release date, instead of doing a 1 to 2 month delay 4 times, which really wore down the will of the community. Because think about it, had they delayed it once by a full year from the original release date, kinda like how Rockstar did with Red Dead 2, it would have come out in April 2021, which might have been barely enough time to fix this living train wreck. Okay, so negativity aside, because I think we've all had enough of that in 2020, there's actually a lot that this game has going for it. For starters, the level of customization is ridiculous, and I love how most missions play. I like going loud most of the time and seeing how well I could use my quick reflexes and ramble my way through all the enemies, and it's pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie. And if you do a couple of side missions to get some Euro dollars before continuing on the main story, you could actually become ridiculously OP before the enemy levels have a chance to catch up, which makes you just feel like John Wick the entire time and has you having an absolute blast when you play through it. And from my experience so far, the crafting in this game is semi-pointless because aside from crafting consumables, and we'll get into why you need those later, crafting guns, knives, or any other weapon really just is really dumb and a waste of resources, because by the time you work your way up to crafting or upgrading something you like, a level 1 random street thug you just killed will drop you something that's 1.5 times as good, making it so that everything you just did to build that gun is irrelevant. So I think there needs to be some rebalancing there. And the global game difficulty is surprisingly easy and not very punishing if you play slow, methodical, and actually think about where you're pushing. Like, obviously don't rush into the middle of a gang meeting, but if you don't do that, I found that it's pretty hard to die in this game. I will say though, if you crank it up to the hard or psycho difficulty level, the game does play much better, and I would recommend everyone do this by default. In my opinion, the hard difficulty level should have been the normal and the psycho should have been the hard. The normal difficulty level is honestly easy. I don't know what else to say. One thing that does stay consistent throughout all difficulty levels though is how low your health pool is if you don't spec into the body skill tree, and I think that's by design. I think that's where most of the difficulty of this game is supposed to stem from, the fact that you don't have much health, so if you don't move correctly, you're going to get lit up by like 3 different AI at the same time and drop like a fly. But using correct cover and health booster consumables, which are a necessity if you haven't been using them already, really makes things manageable on the higher difficulty settings and borderline easy on the lower ones. I also really like how interesting the guns are and how most of them feel really unique to the touch and have their own detailed page of stats. And while I haven't done this yet, I'm also looking forward to building my own personal set of custom OP weapons that I carry around with me everywhere. I also really like how deep the character skill progression is. There are tons of trees to choose from. It's really cool how you could build V however you want. And speaking of V, I've been playing through my first playthrough as a girl, and I'm pretty amazed at how the writers managed to make the dialogue so fluid while having to work with 2 different genders. Like, if you told me that this game had one main character and that is female V, I would believe you because the dialogue really just works. So kudos to them. And fun fact about the story while we're here, don't worry, no spoilers, as someone who likes to do a lot of side missions in most games that he plays, I never really understood why most people choose to skip them. Well, in Cyberpunk 2077, I've had side missions create new main story missions upon completing them. And don't get me wrong, it took me a while to notice that this was happening, but I googled it, and it turns out that if you wanted to play through the entirety of the Cyberpunk 2077 story without doing any of the available side missions or anything else that the game has to offer, you could do it in about 15 to 20 hours, but you'd be getting the bad ending 100% of the time, because if you didn't know already, there are multiple endings to this game. To get the better endings, you need to gain context, information, weapons, and allies from completing side missions. And like I said, sometimes completing side missions or giving someone a random call could even unlock a new main story mission that you otherwise would not have played. Which I think is so freaking cool because CDPR doesn't even tell you that you need to do these side missions. They just let you do your own thing and figure things out for yourself. For instance, at some point in the game, an entire character goes MIA and V wants to find her, so I ended up getting a lead on her whereabouts by completing a side mission. And that lead led to a main story mission. And going off what people are saying online, if you want all of the context of the main story and want to get the best ending, the game is actually around 50 to 60 hours in length. So moral of the story is, play your side missions because the way CDPR implemented them in this game, in my opinion, are absolutely supreme. They no longer feel like pointless time fillers, you actually stand to gain something from doing them, and you never know what that something is. Seriously, beautiful execution. Moving on to vehicles, however, I don't know, maybe I just haven't found the right car yet, but lord, do the ones I've driven move like trash. Driving is hard in this game and it's not really fun to do, but that's enough of that. It's not like someone's gonna pick up this game as a replacement for Forza or something. Driving isn't that good. And honestly, I think that's about it for my impressions. The game is filled with bugs, but runs generally smoothly if you crank down the settings on PC, probably runs like crap on your console, and the gameplay is honestly the most fun I've had in a while. The story is also no slouch either. Once you get past some of the mechanical issues, I really like the story. Like, it's keeping me invested and on the edge of my seat, so that's something to note. But yeah, dudes and dudettes, that's going to do it for my short impressions of this game. Let me know what you guys think of my opinion down below in the comments, and also tell me what you guys think of the game so far if you have it. What are your impressions? Is the game fun enough for you to overlook the glaring performance issues, or are you putting it off until this mess flies over? Really curious to find out and respond to some of you guys, so let me know. But with that being said, ladies and gents, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you dislike the dislike, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload on the channel. Oh, and hit that bell notification button if you're so inclined. Alright guys, I've been Innocence, you've been the audience, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.